J-Lo has completely lost it. She's pushing kids downstairs, going to places she doesn't belong, and completely lost all sense of her own identity. And this is why it's happening from the point of view of a mental health counselor. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jesse Lyon, a licensed counselor who gives you the psychology behind pop culture. And J-Lo has released a movie and a documentary all at the same time. And so it's this wonder of like, is she trying to be back in the public light because she feels like she's slipping from her place of prowess? It's this huge question because the movie makes no sense. The documentary seems contrived and the run-on sentences are endless. Nobody actually knows what's going on between her ears, behind her eyeballs, because it seems like that little space inside of her skull is empty. She's been doing some really strange, unhinged things. And on today's episode, I'm going to tell you my opinions, my thoughts about it as a mental health counselor. Not diagnosing, not treating, but it's a great way for us to have a conversation about why some people become famous who tend to be very crazy. I mean, for lack of a more appropriate and gentle term, it's strange that people who are very much in the spotlight seem to be Looney Tunes. And there's a reason for that we're going to get to today. But I was watching this video. Shout out to one of my favorite creators, Cinnamon Toast Ken. My God, if Cinnamon Toast Ken saw this video, that would make my life. So go check him out, follow his stuff. He makes some great React content, but he put together a series of clips that I want to react to as well and add my 2 cents from a psychological perspective.
The internet is roasting Jennifer Lopez. Jenny from the block. They're getting her, Dane.
Oh, man, what are we doing today?
When I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block.
Every time she can, possibly, she's got to bring up the block, Dane.
And she really does. There's 2 things that happen. One is a lot of times people who are in the limelight are really good at manipulating and changing their identity to fit what needs to be there. There's 2 ways they can do it. Either they're very good at chameleon, sort of changing who they are in order to fit what needs to be there, or they are so obnoxiously themselves that people give them credit because when they see that level of blazing, outrageous confidence without any insight, people tend to trust it. I mean, it goes 2 ways. And this is why like serial killers are such a huge thing in podcasts and like why we study them, because it's 2 ways you can go. If you met a serial killer, like somebody who is diagnosed antisocial personality disorder and does not feel bad for hurting other human beings, in fact finds that enjoyable, they are strange people. If you were to meet one of these individuals, you're like, this is a strange person. But for some people, they are so strange and so confident in their strangeness that people, instead of saying, they're gross, I'm out, they actually say, this person must know something and have wisdom and information and insight that I don't have, and so I should follow them. This is where cult leaders sort of start. They are so delusional and blind to the actual reality of what's going on in front of them that they gain a following because either people have to say, you're nuts and leave, or they say, this person knows something that I don't, and I can see how happy and how positive they are, and I need to learn how to be that as well. Newsflash, if you want to be that as well, you just have to also be delusional like they are, right? And so sometimes these religions, these spiritual like workshops that they do, like these compounds that they start, the religion is actually fostering that delusion inside of their followers. And so the followers really do become this fake pseudo-happy, empowered, and enlightened because the person at the helm of that ship is creating in them the same level of delusion that they live in themselves. It is wild to watch unfold. And so I think we have to bring awareness to it because a lot of times you can sit there with yourself and be like, well, my friend joined this, my coworker is talking about this. Should I do it as well? Look at the rise of Andrew Tate, another cult following, because Andrew Tate is crazy. There's something going wrong with this individual. And we can see that in the way that he treats other human beings. I'm willing to stake my reputation on that. But people are forced to either this person's crazy, or I have to say, this person has a solution and an answer that I don't have. And so I must figure this out for myself too by following them. J-Lo is coming into this situation. she is both trying to adapt and figure herself out, while also she wants to retain this story, this identity about herself that she's Jenny from the block, right? She came up in this way. But a lot of people are saying that's not the actual truth. But she's so convinced herself of this truth that other people believe it for her without looking into the evidence.
Documentary coming out. She also had a movie that just came out called This Is Me Now, which has this review here has 1/2 of a star, but it got rounded up where they reviewed it as the show is just a rambling mess. Like, how am I this sentence constructing that I am just here did? See what I did there? That's like the movie. I think she's trying to make like a big comeback or something on there. Like, she's got a movie, her documentary, all the stuff. She's trying to, like, I don't know, be talked about again. So before we get too far into it, where did Jennifer Lopez come from? Does anybody even know? I do. I looked it up.
Oh, nice.
I looked it up. So Jennifer Lopez started out, she's an actress, and her first big break, she's in a couple movies, but her first big break was the movie Selena.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so she played Selena, who was a singer who died in 1995. She was shot by the president of her own fan club and also a manager of her boutique, like her clothing line.
I had no idea about this story. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm too young, or maybe I'm just in the wrong like pop culture circles, but I had no idea about Selena and that whole come up. But like, remember what I talked about just a second ago with being a chameleon. Like, you can see, and what Cinnamon Toast goes on here to kind of talk about is how she kind of assumed this idea of Selena into herself. And so she just filled in those shoes. And, you know, Cinnamon Toast Ken goes on to show some clips from podcasts and to show some clips from the movie and stuff about how she just kind of took on this identity. And so you see inside of these people who become famous, just this real plasticity, right? This real shiftiness, this real like watery sense of who they are. And so they just fill whatever container, you know, they're given. They just fill that cup. And so this is what we're kind of seeing here. And it's why we see many celebrities, many comedians especially, sort of break down, as they are always looking for that validation from the office, always looking for that validation from the audience. And that causes this struggle with, who am I? So you lose yourself a little bit. Look at Miley Cyrus, look at Justin Bieber, look at Jeanette McCurdy, right? In her book that came out, all of these Disney stars, I'm picking on them a little bit, but you see it with J-Lo as well. And so those people who are really, really have the personality type to become famous have a certain set of struggles that you're going to see happen over and over again. I mean, I think the one that hits me the most is the pervasive depression in the comic community, and especially with Robin Williams. You see Robin Williams and making so many people laugh and happy, but struggling to really know himself and feel comfortable and confident with that.
So Rodney wrote really the same song. Honestly, if you hear my song, it's the same song. Mine says, if you had my love and baby, that gave me. If you had my trust, would you?
So, maybe she hijack a song, maybe. And so there's even allegations that Shantae is like her ghost singer.
All sorts of crazy stuff going on. So apparently in the documentary, she goes back to the block in the Bronx to like go back to the house that she was in, and nobody knows her.
Stuff on the internet. And do you remember this, Dane, where Jennifer Lopez goes back to the block and nobody knows who she is?
I know.
My name is Jennifer. Yeah, I used to live and my room was upstairs right there. Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer who? She's like, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, you think she'd be famous enough to be recognized, but you're like, Jennifer who? I don't know you. And it's in the neighborhood that she grew up in.
Me. I used to live here.
So because of this surge in popularity with her new film, I mean, I guess it's not really popular, but it's popular because it's so bad. A lot of people are talking about their childhood experiences with J-Lo because they really were from the Bronx. They really saw her when she was little and saw her when she tried to come back to make this documentary. And so you're seeing a lot of stuff come up just because the internet is so connected now. We can get information out, and then with the algorithms, that information pops up and becomes viral in ways that you never saw before. So people are being held accountable for their fake stories because we're much more connected. And this is really where I see social media doing us all a favor. Yes, social media is a huge problem, but with that problem comes some really cool things. And so when people try and give us a false narrative, we can see it break down because we get the collective input from everybody else.
Since everybody's talking about Jennifer Lopez and this clip, I thought I would also share my childhood trauma involving meeting this woman for the first time on the block. So fun fact about me, I used to go to the school that J-Lo's mother taught at, that J-Lo herself attended. It was Holy Family School in the Bronx. And notice how I said was.
The man's got like the details, Dane. He's gonna get into this.
Okay. All right.
When J-Lo's mom was there, she like just retired. And I believe the reason why she retired was because she won $2.4 million in a lottery. And
I had no idea about that part of the story. So it's like, there's another huge thing that happens. Like Taylor Swift, for instance, they talk about how Taylor Swift is super self-made. She's not. She had a bunch of money to finance all of the musical endeavors that she started. And so you put enough money behind something, you get yourself in front of the right people, it all kind of starts to pull together.
she was like,
Wait,
"Bah."
what? J-Lo's mom won $2.4 million in the lottery
Nice.
after her daughter is Jennifer Lopez making all that money? All right. What a lucky family.
I also went to the same pizza place she would go to, Cross Bronx Pizza. And I also went to the same after school program that she went to, the Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club. And as you can see here, the pizza place, the school, and the Boys and Girls Club are all on
There it
Castle
is,
Hill
Dane.
Avenue in the Bronx. And this is what I think she refers to as
The Block, a.k.a. Castle Hill Avenue.
She's from the streets, because technically her address is on a street.
I used to live here.
Now on to the main event. It is 2002, if I remember correctly. I did not know who Jennifer Lopez was. I was kind of a nerdy child.
It's okay. Everybody from the block apparently didn't know who she was, so it's fine. You fit right in.
But from that day on, let's just say I knew who J-Lo was. And as I turn the corner, I just see kids getting pushed, like punted. Next thing you know, I'm getting pushed also into the floor, and I like fell next to the staircase, and I'm just like, what is happening? And that's when I catch a glimpse of this woman, like not acknowledging anything that's happening. She's walking between her bodyguards, and then she's out the door.
But just imagine that you're going to school and then J-Lo's bodyguards are just like stiff arming kids out of the way,
And she's just walking over bodies, just kind of stepping, not paying attention or looking nowhere.
God
damn.
Peasants.
Flash forward a couple of minutes after my concussion subsided and I picked up all of my belongings. I made my way out of the front door of the school over here, and I wanted to go to my favorite pizza place down the street because I had 50 cents and I knew a pizza roll would help me forget about this whole thing. But then I noticed the large crowd outside, and then I realized that woman was probably inside of the establishment.
That woman, he couldn't even go to his favorite pizzeria, Dane. Jennifer
Wow.
Lopez ruined everything for this kid's day. Oh my gosh. What a monster.
So I actually found this article from 2002, and even back then, people were saying that she's a phony and a fake and doesn't do anything for the block. Kind of freaking out because this article is about that day. Look, she visited Holy Family School for the cameras. And then she went to the Cross Bronx Pizza shop. Here it is. Bodyguard shoved excited kids out of the way, residents said, leaving one tiny fan in tears. See, I wasn't lying.
It was him. He was the one crying.
It's true. It's all happening. Needless to say, people are upset, right? And so when we look at individuals like this, there is a huge desire to be like them. They are there to be adored. They are put on this pedestal. And so oftentimes we idolize our idols. She's like American Idol, right? We use that terminology inside of our culture, inside of our context, because that's really the way that we set them up. But those idols are oftentimes a false front, a phony image.
From the Bronx, who went to the same high school as you, and you're lying. You did not have hair like that, and we also both attended an all-girls Catholic high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block. You know damn well you were sitting next to Megan Farley and Christine Marchetti in class. Why are you lying?
Damn.
Please stop using us to look human. We are sick of you. Keep our names out of your mouth. We're not
That's the part that gets me. It's like you are using us to look human. And it's the usury that just makes me cringe.
running up and down the block. Not all of us do that for kicks. You're stupid.
Oh,
Damn.
So they're just like, stop using us to look human. Leave the block
Damn.
alone, J-Lo.
My hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. Like crazy little girl.
I got to share I got to share a story. So I was mailing something at the post office. I know, shocking. I had to actually go to the post office and mail something. And as I'm in line, I rode my motorcycle there, and you can see it right there on the wall. I have my helmet and like my body armor on, so if I crash, I'm still safe. And so I walk into the post office, and this little old lady comes up, and she's like, "Oh, you ride a motorcycle, or you just like to dress that way?" And I laughed because that is a funny idea. And I said back, I was like, that would be pretty funny if I hopped out of my Prius with a full helmet on. I was like, no, that's my motorcycle out front. And so then she uses that opportunity to just launch into a whole spiel about herself. She hands me not one, not two, but 3 business cards. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm a sports coach. I'm an author. I've been on MSNBC. I've been on CNN. I've been on 60 Minutes. I've been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And lo and behold, I look it up. She was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She does have a book about toxic work environments and bad parenting and all sorts of stuff. But I get to the front of the counter and I talk to the male person behind the counter who's taking the package that I'm trying to, well, don't say that out of context, but taking my package. And they're like, yeah, this girl's in here all the time. She's crazy. I saw her talking with somebody on the street corner for a whole hour after we closed from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And so it just got me to thinking, like, is this a person who's washed up and is a has-been and so is handing out business cards because they lost their identity? Or is it that this person is so outrageous, so talkative, so confident, so full of their own ideas that people give her a platform? And I think it's a combination of both. And so I want you to be aware of it. And I'm talking about this topic because, first of all, it's in the public eye with J-Lo, and you need to be aware of the reality that these are people. These aren't perfect icons. These aren't the idols that they are set up to be. They have flaws, and it's their flaws that usually allow them to secure positions of influence, authority, and success. And so when you're looking at someone who's a celebrity, don't envy them. Don't do it. It's interesting to see what outrageous lives they live. But let me tell you, if you have a family that you love, if you have a job that you enjoy, you are, I'm sure, happier than any of them. It comes with problems. It comes with headaches. There is no reason to idolize somebody who makes $1 million. Now, listen, I'm sure there's struggle. There's financial hardship everywhere in the world right now. But I just want you to be appreciative and think about how great it is not to be famous, not to have the mental plagues that storm their brains in order to make them successful in these ways. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Take it from a counselor who talks to individuals like this and helps them through the consistent and systemic demons that plague their mind. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe down below. It helps support the channel and spread it with other people around the internet who may be struggling with their mental health. So do your part, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.